Good evening. This is a public meeting of the Lowell Zoning Board of Appeals for January 12th, 2015. Tonight we have one matter that's continuance, and then we have 3 petitions under new business. If I could remind everybody, if you have an electronic device, please turn it off or turn it down. And second of all, if you are not a petitioner and you plan on speaking on behalf of a petition, please sign in at the podium with your name and address before addressing the board. Okay, our first matter before us is under continuances. This is ZB 2014-65. The petition's a variance. The applicant is Christina Vo, property located at 16 Hazel Street. Petition, the applicant is seeking variances to exceed the front setback requirement as well as the floor area ratio requirement. The petitioner is seeking relief under section 5.1 of the Lowell zoning ordinance. Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm Ed Gorlick. I'm representing the Christina Vo.
Sure.
And just to let you know what's transpired here, Christina Vo, the 2-family house has been a Vo family for over 25 years. The Vo family, for over 25 years, they're planning to completely remodel the existing house, new plumbing, electric, and so forth. And they were planning on putting a second floor addition to the rear. But because of their finances, they're not be able to do it. So we're going to withdraw that part of the variance. And I have a letter from them. So we'll only be going for 1 variance, not 2.
Okay, so before you proceed any further, do you have any plans for what they're going to do?
Yes, they're completely remodeling the
Okay,
whole
so
house.
we have not been handed any plans at all for this remodel.
Oh,
They do
building
have copies
plans?
with them tonight.
Okay, so they're just going to present it tonight. Okay.
If you want to see them, they can bring
Well, if it's going to be part of the presentation, that's fine. I just want to state it, we haven't received anything. So, Judy, can you take what this gentleman has for part of the
Oh, the
petition?
letter?
Okay.
I talked with Joe Genowitz, and he told me if we had a letter, that should suffice rather than redoing the whole plan.
Yeah. So, can I ask you a question? In what capacity are you representing the petitioner?
What capacity?
Yeah.
I'm a surveyor.
Surveyor?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I didn't hear I heard who you were. You didn't say why you were here,
Okay.
what you were doing for them. Okay, so you're the surveyor. All right, you can continue. Thank you.
And they are, however, they're still looking for a variance for the front yard setback. They want to put a 4.6-inch porch in the front. The existing one's 2 feet. And you can't even put a chair out there to sit down on or anything. So they'd like to extend it out 2 feet 10 inches. They're going for a variance for 2 feet 10 inches from the 17-foot setback. So consideration in this matter would be deeply appreciated.
Is that it? Do you want to walk through these plans at all, or is somebody going to walk through them?
You want to go through those plans with them? You know what's going on, right, with the plans?
I mean, the board's just receiving these this evening, so it's not like we've had any time at all to review this. But if you could walk through it, please.
Just to show them what you're doing. Can you go walk it through with them? Up there? Yeah.
You need to be at the mic. You need to have a microphone, so. Understood. Good evening. My name is Nick. I represent for my sister-in-law, Christina Vo, on her behalf for the property at 16 Hazel Street. As presented to you by Ed Garlick, our surveyor, we are seeking variance for the front porch setback. What we are planning to do with this is to remodel the whole house at the property at 16 Hazel Street. Our family planned to live there for a long time, and the house is really old. It's over 100 years old, and the family had decided we want to be a resident of Lowell for maybe the rest of our lives. So we want to upgrade the house, electrical, plumbing, bathroom, kitchen, pretty much a gut job. And pretty much the variance we are seeking for is to improve the quality of life for one of our family members who is very sick. He liked the outdoors. We want to be able to put chairs out in the porch so he can enjoy the summer days outside. So if you have particular questions on the blueprints, I'm not an architecture, so I may not be able to answer that for you. But basically, I summarized the plan for you. We plan to remodel the whole interior of the house.
So Judy, so based on the submission of the plans this evening and the original application and petition that was before us, are we able to still move ahead with this, or do we need to readdress a few things?
No, I believe because they did withdraw the floor area ratio requirement, they still need the front setback release. And to be truthful, I have not had a chance to look at the entire set of drawings myself. I'm just receiving them tonight as you are, to make an exact determination as to whether there's any other relief required.
Okay. All right, so I think what we're going to do is, I think we'll proceed, but I just want you to understand, it's the first time we're seeing your new set of plans, so we'll see where this goes, but I'll continue with it since the city DPD doesn't have any issues with the original application. So we're going to, do I need to read this in before we go any further, Judy, or is this just to be accepted with the new set of plans?
Yeah, that's their request for withdrawal of the variance for the floor area ratio.
Okay, does
Yes.
it need to be read into the record?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we have communication from the applicant dated January 5th, 2014. I will be unable to construct the second floor addition proposed at the rear of the dwelling due to the cost of the project. I am unable to finance that portion of it. Therefore, I am withdrawing my request for a variance of the floor area ratio shown on the plan submitted. However, I will be seeking a variance for a front yard setback for a proposed porch. And this is signed by Christina Vo, 16 Hazel Street. Okay, so that's been accepted into the record. Do you have anything else you want to add at this point, sir?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to open it up to the public, and then we'll proceed, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone here like to speak in favor of this petition? In favor? In favor? Hearing none, that portion of public hearing is closed. Anyone like to speak in opposition? 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 Hearing none, that portion of public hearing is closed. Going to open it up to the board. Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Quick question for the petitioner. The plans that you submitted this evening include a first and second floor deck. Is that part of the withdrawal request?
No, we are only withdrawing the addition of the second floor in the rear of the property.
Okay. So tonight we would be voting on the front porch extension and the two decks on the side, Judy?
No, sir, it's just the variance for the front porch.
Right.
Excuse me, neither one of those decks are in violation or too close to it either. So we don't have to go for a variance for that.
That's why I was asking the question, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, just for clarification from. As far as the front porch, so actually the original plans that you submitted a few weeks or about a month ago did include a rough drawing of what how far out you wanted to extend the porch. And although we just received the new drawings this evening, I don't have any issue or any questions about the porch. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Sean?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I've had some concerns previously about the second floor addition, but now that that's been withdrawn, for the time being, I don't have anything further. Reviewing the issue as far as the porch is concerned, again, I share the same sentiments with Mike, that I don't see any real issues with regards to that, so I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dennis?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I have a couple questions for the surveyor, I think, that prepared the document, if you could. I just want to be clear as to what you're asking for, because the document that we received that's dated 10/29/2014, 2014, I think it's asking for 2-foot 8-inch relief.
2 foot 10 inch, I believe, isn't it?
I think the document, it's kind of difficult to see the number, but it almost looks like 8. I don't see a 10 there. So I agree, the math, when you do it, it's 2-foot 10. So we're going to be modifying that or whatever. It's going to be 2-foot 10.
It's basically bringing out the porch 2.5 feet, you know? And,
So you have a setback of 17 feet,
17.
and we're going to be actually looking for only 14-foot 2 inches, actually, is what we're granting.
Right,
So it
14
would be
foot 2 inches.
So it'd be 2-foot 10. Okay. Got it. And all we're here for tonight is for the porch. So these other drawings that you presented
I know,
look
but we-
beautiful, but
you.
really all we're looking at here is the porch.
We are gonna do other things there, like the deck in the back and the,
I understand, but they
Yes,
all
you
fit
don't have
within
need to
zoning.
vote.
There's no relief required for any of that. Right. And the other change you're making to the porch is the roof line. So you're increasing the pitch of the roof, and you're changing the roof at the bay window as well? Is that right? So I just want to get the whole picture of the change, so, it looks beautiful, by the way. It's a great improvement, worth the effort, I think. It's nicely done.
trying to make it modern, you know?
Oh, it'll look great.
It was built in 1900, they
Yeah.
wanna upgrade the whole thing, you know?
And it looks like it's still keeping with the period of the original design, so. And I agree, the original porch is purely for aesthetics and really not usable, so adding the additional dimension allows you to actually put a chair on the
Yes, thank
porch.
you.
And we're still able to achieve 14-foot 2-inch setback, so. But really, all we're focusing on for this is not the rest of the drawing, it's just the porch. So,
Porch, right.
makes sense. Okay, nice improvement.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dennis. Gary?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. If I refer to A2.0, that side stairwell that's coming up, is that that's not existing, that's gonna be new, coming off that side drive? Is that correct?
A2, you're talking about, sir?
Correct. Front elevation. The furthest part of that,
Are you,
Where are you in the building?
I'm gonna propose front elevation on A2.0.
Oh, this
So
one?
that, what I'm referencing is that stairwell, that staircase that's going
Yeah, here, okay.
to the porch.
yes, that staircase is the side
It's the
view
rear porch.
for the rear porch for the secondary entry to the property.
So that should be that's set back in the drawing. It's not part of an additional staircase to that front porch, correct?
No, that staircase is not the part of the original
All right.
front porch.
All right, so that's actually a kick-out should be set back. All right, I thought it was an additional staircase.
That's back about 70
Yeah,
feet.
no, I was by the property, just the way it's here without any. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Just a clarification, thank you.
Thank you. Van?
Overall, the renovations or the upgrades, they look really good, and, you know, I think, I don't see any issues with it. A little bit of confusion with what you're here for tonight, but it's been clarified. But overall, I think this is a good project, and wish you the best of luck, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Van. Okay, so based on the new plans submitted this evening and the variance that we're seeking to approve is for the porch, and I think based on the comments from the other board members regarding the existing condition of the home and what the intent is by the family, I believe the applicant, now that they've submitted the new set of plans, the relief that's being granted of it's 2 feet 10, right? I think the applicant has met their burden and also has met the prerequisites that are required. I believe there's a couple of conditions based on the review this evening. One would be the acceptance of the new plans submitted this evening, dated January 5th, and then the second would be regarding working with DPD around a landscape plan. Any other comments from any other board members? So we're talking about two conditions in order for this to pass this evening. So with that said, could I have a motion, please?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for CB 2014-065 for variance at 16 Hazel Street. The variance is to reduce the front yard setback from 17 feet to 14 foot 2 inches with the following conditions. To accept the plans dated January 5th submitted tonight, and also second would be to work with DPD to develop a landscape plan suitable for the front yard area.
Okay, could I have a second?
Second the motion.
Roll call.
Chairman Bailey?
Approved with conditions.
Member Callahan?
Approved with conditions.
Member McCarthy?
Approved with conditions?
Member Paglia?
Approved with conditions?
Member Peck?
Approve with conditions.
Member Perrin?
Approve with conditions.
Okay, gentlemen, you've been approved with conditions. Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, our next matter before us is under new business. This is ZB 2014-69. The petition's a special permit. The applicant is Tai Duc Nin, property located at 600 Merrimack Street. And the petition, the applicant is seeking special permit approval to install internally illuminated channel letters for a new restaurant. The petitioner is seeking relief under section 6.3 of the Lowell zoning ordinance. Is the petitioner here? Know anything about the petitioner? Not here? Okay. So let's move on to our next matter before us, and that would be ZB 2014-70. Petitions of variance. The applicant is Wilson Mercado. The property is located at 15 Cantelis Avenue. And the petition of variance for side setback for an accessory structure pursuant to section 4.354 of the zoning ordinance. Is Mr. Mercado here? Yes, sir. Why, sir? If you want to introduce yourself and tell us why you're here, please.
Yes, my name is Steven Da Silva, and my father is Wilson Mercado. I'm
Okay.
here to speak for him.
Sure, sure. It's my understanding, so the shed burnt down or had a fire, or there was some issue with the shed, right?
No, I know what happened is during a storm, the tree, the wind was so strong that the tree actually, the neighbor's tree actually fell and then destroyed my dad's shed.
Okay. Okay, so I know when looking through, so I don't know where I got the fire story from. I must have made that one up.
No,
That's okay. Getting old.
I would have put it off. I'm a firefighter for Lowell, so I would have been there.
Okay, so I guess the real issue here tonight is the rebuilding the new structure is sitting on basically the property line. So did your father have any idea of where the structure could go?
We had 6 plot plans. We gave it to the person. I don't know if you guys have any of those copies. But we use the same foundation. My dad's been there for 10 years,
Yep.
and the layout that was there with the foundation is the same foundation. It was in the same line that's been there. But instead of doing it from a 10 by 12, we did it 10 by 16. And we just if this is the foundation we had, we just extended it 4 feet.
Okay.
But we didn't move it back.
You kept the same footprint,
Yes.
except you widened it 6 feet, correct?
Yeah.
You
4
didn't go
feet.
any deeper, you just,
No, 4 feet to the left. We just extended it. Yeah, we didn't go over or
Okay.
anything like that.
and you said your father's been there for 10 years, living in
Yes.
that house?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, anything else you want to add?
I know, sir.
Okay. I'm going to open it up to the public. Anyone here like to speak in favor of this petition? In favor? In favor? Hearing none. That portion of the public hearing is closed. Anyone want to speak in opposition? Opposition, opposition. Hearing none. That portion of public hearing is closed. Open it up to the board. Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No questions, just a comment. I don't have an issue with going forward with this application either. I know residents sometimes don't realize that if they're going to build or rebuild and changing the size, that they might have to get permits or permission to do that. So the petitioner is here now, just seeking relief, and I plan on granting it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sean?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have any comments either. The petitioner, it appears, is doing the right thing by coming before the board to try to get this rectified. So I really don't have any questions or comments. I think it's fine.
Thank you. Dennis?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I noticed that there doesn't seem to be any neighbors here that are in opposition, and you're basically encroaching on the setback that they'd normally be entitled to, but where they don't seem to be opposing it at the moment, that seems to be speaking well on your behalf. I just want to be clear on the dimension that we're seeking here. So it's 2'1" right now from this side, from the rear setback, and it's a 5-foot setback.
Yes.
So that would be a 2'11" change from what is required. So we were looking at a reduction to be 2'1". Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you did add 4 feet, and the entire length of that rear addition or change is maintaining that 2'1".
It's yes. When we first moved, when my dad moved there, it's the same. We didn't extend it back. It was the same.
Okay.
So it was
Still tight. But I
yes.
understand the lot is probably well utilized. You seem to have every inch of it
Yes.
maintained and taken care of, so
Will do.
makes sense. Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Gary?
No comments, Mr. Chairman.
And Van?
No comments, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so again, I think one of the board members mentioned that, we don't think the intent here is that this gentleman went out of his way to try to increase and basically use the same footprint, extended it out 4 feet, but I agree with Dennis, with no neighborhood opposition here, especially the neighbors that would be affected. And also, I don't see any impact, to either the public good or the intention of the zoning. So with that said, were there any conditions by any other members? Any other comments?
I just have one other comment. Judy, the way this is reading, the way it was written is for side yard setback. Is this, I understand it's kind of a strange organization of streets over there. Is it rear or side?
You know, I was out at the site today, and it actually is it's a rear.
I think it's a rear, too.
It is a rear, yeah.
Okay.
So the
Thank you.
chairman was right. in the
Yeah.
beginning. Well, when I took a look at the property, I actually came down the street, took a view, made a view, and I also drove around the back just to get the other view. And to me, the encroachment was on the rear of the property, not on the side. But to your point about it was there before, and I think there's a fence. That fence that's there, does
Yes.
your father own that, or is that owned by the people behind him?
That's from the people behind,
Yep.
yes.
Okay. Okay, now we got that cleared up. Okay, could I have a motion, please?
Actually, I just want to be clear with Judy. Is it still 5 feet in the rear that's required? Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay,
Through you.
can I have a motion now?
Okay, motion.
Okay.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for ZB 2014-070 for a variance for the rear yard setback to be reduced from 5 feet to 2 foot 1 inch.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Chairman Bailey,
Approved?
Member Callahan,
Approved.
Member McCarthy,
Approve?
Member Paglia,
Approved.
Member Peck,
Approve.
Member Perrin.
Approved.
Okay, sir, you've been approved.
Thank you.
So best of
Appreciate
luck.
it. All right, thank you.
Luck.
welcome.
Thank you for your service.
Okay, is the applicant from 600 Merrimack Street here? No? Okay. All right, our next matter before us is ZB 2014-71, the petitions of variance. The applicant is Daniel and Cheryl Squigilla. The property is located at 23 Ursula Street, and the petition, variance for minimum lot size, minimum frontage, and lot area per dwelling unit pursuant to Section 5.1 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening, Mr. Leides.
Good evening, George Theolides Jr., 133 Market Street, Lowell. First meeting of the year. Happy New Year. Great to be here for another year, even though you may see me many times too often. But I'll keep my words down. And I want to note, Mr. Chairman, that this is probably the smallest submission I made. You've indicated in the past some of the submissions were rather lengthy.
So is that going to continue during 2015?
So, I'm here this evening, I've packed the house. I'm here this evening with the Squiglia family and their neighbors, and I'm sure you've all had a chance to, I'm assuming you've had a chance to take a look at the property and certainly the paperwork and whatever, but I'll be brief. They bought the property just about 30 years ago. It'll be 30 years in March. It's a large piece of property, over 24,000 square feet. Certainly the largest piece of property in the neighborhood there. Originally, it was 2 lots. At the time when they built it, they thought they would just build themselves a nice house and didn't really pay much attention to how it might be spread out and what effect that might have on the extra lot they had. In the meantime, fast forward, as they say, all this time, as I've indicated in my submission to the board, there have been some family health issues And they're the type of thing I'm not going to go into it in detail, but they're the type of thing that would be very helpful to the family if daughter and granddaughter were nearby, next door, certainly, for purposes of watching over both of them, really, for the health problems that they have by way of a need for the same. The lot itself, as I said, is large, but when you carve it out, it really is, in essence, almost exactly the former lot before it became a non-lot for building purposes under our zoning code. As you all know, more than 10 years ago now, the various area requirements were changed dramatically, and a lot of them in the city were changed. The Squares didn't have a chance, or did they consider at that time. Their daughter wasn't married. She teaches, by the way, in Lowell, and they're all in Lowell now. But she and her husband, who are over there, and their wonderful grandson, are in the other side of the city now, and it makes a very terrible, difficult problem for them in terms of watching over the health situation. In addition to that, at first blush, as they say, when you look at the plan, you say, well, you know, I suppose you could tear down the garage or tear down a part of the garage, but what an awful cost, number one, and what an awful mess it would make for the house. I'm sure, as I said, hopefully you've seen it. It's a beautiful house on a beautiful lot. The lot we anticipate or hope that we can build a new house on is a very large lot, a very clear lot. It's going to meet almost all of the dimensional requirements, and at the same time, the Square's current house will in fact meet all the current zoning requirements. Dan, who's with me here, is quite familiar with zoning aspects in the city of Lowell. He certainly has a sensitivity and a feeling for making sure that things that are done not in any way to change the character of the neighborhood or do any harm to the neighborhood. I think the overhead picture, which isn't brilliant, but it comes from the city's GIS site that I submitted in my last submission, shows you pretty clearly that there's a big lot of land wide open that's just sitting there, that if you put a house in there is not going to in any way, shape, or manner change the appearance of the neighborhood and what could be a savior for these folks from the hardships involved with either having to tear things down or not being able to have their family nearby in that situation. So I think that's about, well, the only other thing I was going to say is you probably didn't see it when the lawn was out there. There's a beautiful landscape and a big yard there, but Dan's getting so old now that he doesn't want to cut a big lawn anymore, so that would also help him in that regard. So that's basically it. Dan is here, the whole family's here. We'll be more than happy to answer any questions the board might have, and I thank you. I think Dan wanted to say a couple of things.
Well, I just, good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
I jumped the gun. I'm sorry. Let the chairman.
Yeah. and
He's got a call.
If he,
Might want to have the people.
Right.
if he's more than happy to, if you want to address the board now, that's up to you.
That's fine, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay. All right, anything else, Mr. Ladies?
That's it.
Okay. Going to open it up to the public. Anyone here that'd like to speak in favor of this petition? In favor? Yes, ma'am.
Hi. My name is Barbara, and I live right across the street from Dan and Cheryl. Almost the driveways almost match each other, and I've been there for 28 years now. A little bit shorter time than Dan and Cheryl. They moved in first. And they started the competition on the lawn, and quite frankly, I'm sick of looking at his lawn that has no weeds, no nothing, is perfectly green and fresh and clean every day. I want a house there, so I don't have to look at that anymore. But seriously, I don't see where a house there is going to increase traffic. It's not going to harm the area in any way. And it's the family I've known for the 28 years. I judge people not by the number of toys that they have, but how they take care of those toys and how they bring up their children, and they've done a marvelous job. If Dan could only do the same with himself, it'd be appreciated, but, you know, we make excuses when we can. But that's all I have to say.
So are you the first house on the left?
Second. The
Second?
first house on the left is actually on Varnum Ave, but has her driveway on Ursula.
Yeah,
So I'm the second driveway.
well, yeah, so you're the first house on Earth.
First house on Ursula, yes.
Yep. How many years you been there?
I've been there 28 years.
Yep. Okay,
Be 29 in September.
okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Yep.
Anyone else like to speak in favor of this petition? Favor? Favor? Hearing none, that portion of public hearing is closed. Anyone here like to speak in opposition? 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 Hearing none, that portion of public hearing is closed. Going to open it up to the board. Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually, Mr. Elides, have a couple of questions related to the comments that were submitted by DPD. You probably had a chance to
I did see them.
look
yes,
at those. So my, I guess, just concern would be that someday long in the future, the question of the driveway and the easement. I mean, if at some point either or both of the families, you know, decide to move, the DPD suggests that there be an easement put on the part of the driveway that will now be on the new property.
Well, there's only a very
Little sliver, but
right, which we could remove. They're planning on putting in their own driveway. Maybe that doesn't really show on the plan, and we didn't want to. We wanted to leave that available for any moving that needed to be done. Am I?
If I may comment, and again, Dan Sperlia from 23 or 33 Ursula Street. With regards to the driveway, the civil engineer put it on there. That sliver is actually coming off there. That driveway, strike that lot line, will be all the way to and back from front to back. There will be no sliver there. That's strictly existing now, so he showed it on the map, but it's to be removed. It's not needed to make the turns into or whatever, so it'll just be grass and landscape there.
okay, thank you. In regards to the landscaping too, when I went out to the site this weekend, there's a number of large older trees that I'm sure in the spring, summer, and fall really add to the landscaping there. But it looks like the tree, if you're looking at the property, the tree to the far right could potentially be damaged or may have to be removed or could, you know, carelessly be damaged during construction. I was just hoping that would be something that would be saved on the property.
Part of the reason why we come up with the lot line the way that we did was to save that tree. And provisions will be taken so it won't get damaged during. That tree provides a lot of, though it has its health issues, but it does provide a lot of shade and the intention of putting the lot line where it is to save that tree so it's not impacted one way or the other.
Okay, thank you. And then just a couple comments, again, going out to the site this weekend, there's a real odd mix of homes on that street. When I drove down the street, there's a little old red house that looks almost like it's just wide enough for one person to walk from. It's just a very narrow old home. And then the aerial photo that you provided, although I was out to the site, the aerial really shows that there have been a number of lots that have been carved up in the past from that original plan where they were all 12,000 square feet, the whole length of the street. So again, the two questions I had related to the planning office's questions have been answered. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Sean?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to commend you on the plan setting forth all this. My concern was with the driveway at one point, but you answered that, answered my concerns on that one. I had the chance to go out to the property earlier this weekend myself. It's a very nicely well-kept neighborhood and very big lot that I think would go to good use in, adding on to the neighborhood. So I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Sean. Dennis?
Through Mr. Chairman, I have a number of questions here, but it is a very nicely built and maintained property, so it looks great. The submission package is lacking in a few details that I wish we had, namely the location of the new driveway for the new property, and some contours that are required by the package to be submitted, and also the location of that ledge or rock outcropping in the corner. It looks like a garden area, but is it a boulder, or is it?
No, you're referring to the mounded area if we're facing the property to the right?
Yes.
That was landscape designed by an architect to provide privacy to the property. In the summertime, those shrubs from Varnum Avenue, we had a noise, that was built up. That would be, the land on that lot actually grades down to street level. We actually built that mound there. There is no rock or stone or
Good.
anything else there, underneath there. The other thing is with regards to the driveway and why Mr. White didn't show it on there, I don't know, but it's actually the garage will be in front because we did that on a narrow lot when Mr. Sullivan designed it. He wanted to make sure that we had it, again, the sides are perpendicular right to the street, and that will just be an extension of the driveway to the street. It does encroach on that mound, and the telephone pole that's out there will be moved approximately about 6 feet to the right. Not necessary, but it would make the lot look more aesthetically, and they said that's not an issue.
Okay, well, a couple things about the driveway. Your plans that you submitted show a two-car garage.
Correct.
The driveway width allowed, Judy, is 15 feet, or what's the curb cut that we can provide in this neighborhood?
For SSF zone,
I think we just had this a couple of weeks ago over.
actually, yes, the SSF zone was changed just
I
recently
think it's 15 feet now.
to, I think it was changed to 20.
No, we have
When
to
I
go for
inquired,
variance. 15.
15.
when I inquired
It
about
was
the curb
15.
cut, it was somewhat of a mute issue. There is no curbing on either side of that
Right.
street.
There's
It never has been.
Well, I think what it means is the width of the driveway paved surface as it is connected to the street surface. The maximum width allowable is 15 feet, right, I think? And
Yeah,
there's
so
no
that
driveway
is
present-
separate from the actual curb cut, yes. So it's 20 feet curb cut, but 15 feet allowable driveway width. And you do need to set back from the property line and also set back from the building itself.
So we don't have, well, we have the setback from the building, which seems to be adequate at 35 feet. I think it's only 20 feet required for a driveway, but we don't have the driveway on the plan that shows what your intention is. And the other thing is the lot seems to rise quite a bit from front to rear. Looks like about 10 feet maybe. And my thought is if you're locating this house in the center of it, you might split the difference and say a 5-foot rise. Well, that's a fair amount of rise over 35 feet of pavement that I don't know how the drainage would work. Would we be looking at all of that paved surface water emptying into the street and then being additional paved surface for the stormwater system to deal with? I'm just looking at, there's missing information here for us to answer how this whole thing's going to resolve itself.
I think part of the issue, Mr. McCarthy, was that the biggest concern was reference to the issue of the size of the lot and most of the other dimensional requirements. When it came down to both landscaping and driveway, my suggestion to Dan was that, and I would ask the board that this could be in the form of a condition that we that complete the driveway and the landscape satisfactory to the Department of Planning and Development. If the board, I mean, I'm not seeking to take that authority, shall we say, away from the board, but I think based on the items like you just described, I think we'd have a better idea once we get into digging and finding out what's going on there as to the proper location and width of the driveway.
it's not only the location, it's also the contours of the driveway, because it seems as though the driveway is going to rise roughly 5 feet from the street to the, I'm guessing here because I don't see any topo on the plans. I'm just suggesting that it's probably going to be maybe 5, might be more than that, because you may set the building up higher so that you can have a walkout rear patio, which you're actually showing on the plan too. And so if you were to have a walkout rear patio, you'd maybe be looking at a retaining wall in the backyard, because your surface would need to be, contoured. Again, I'm just not seeing a complete package here with representing what you're entailing. I mean, anyway, so I have those questions. Let's see. The fact that you don't have a 90-foot width, which is one of the requirements for this zone as a minimum, and you're at 65 feet in width, that seems to come down to the location of the driveway. As I look at the plan, it seems as though you have maybe from the face of the driveway to your new property line, something in the order of 30, 32 feet, something in that range,
Correct.
to solve your driveway access. There seems to be more than you need. So I'm just wondering why you chose 65 feet and not maybe 75 feet, which would certainly be less of a variance change from zoning. So your square footage might be closer to 9,000 square feet versus 8,000 or 7,800 square feet. You'd be looking at more compatible with the other properties in the neighborhood.
However, the 75 feet causes a problem for the existing garage in the way you pull into it. You would now then need a variance for a driveway, because that would be, you would definitely need a variance for an easement, if you would, for that driveway. After talking to the engineers and everybody involved, it was determined that to save that tree, to keep everything in line and make the lot look cleaner, it was the 65 feet. I didn't need the extra extension of the driveway. That can go, and we still have no problem with the existing driveway, people backing out and pulling down or pulling into the garage. That's the reason why it's done. The easement seemed to be going to be more of an issue, not an issue so much, but it certainly wasn't clean as making two separate lots. So at some point, when my children have to deal with this, it won't be an issue with an easement.
Okay. So your engineers did look at that option, though, and
Yes,
they
we did.
figured out that they needed to.
There is,
Okay. All right.
that was the reason why.
Well, it's a nice-looking structure. It's a beautiful new house design. I just wish we had more of a clear package to understand how it sits on the lot.
The topography and so on, the lines were shot, and he didn't put those in there, but in the way that land originally was perhaps sunken for the most part. A lot of that was raised, so it would have that look and that slope to the street. So I think that the drainage and so on was the same as it was 30 years ago, if not anything else. We improved it to move the land away, to move the water away from our neighbors, both on the left and the right. Because of the topography of the street coming down towards Varnum Avenue, the whole hill brings things down. And unfortunately, that land used to be the catch-all for everything. So we had to spend some extensive time and money to get it corrected before we even built the existing house. Those same plans would be in consideration for this house, whatever it's going to take for the architects and/or the engineer to make it so it works. So we'll address that.
And of course, we'd work with the city engineer on that, Mr. McCarthy.
Okay, just to beat a dead horse one last time. The driveway width is, the curb is 15 feet, and the garage looks like it's probably, I mean, you don't have a dimension on the plan, but it seems to be, maybe it is a dimension on the plan. Is it 20?
16 is the actual door.
16 is the actual door, okay. So does the paved surface then taper to the street? Is that your intention, so that you'll meet the,
Exactly.
okay,
That's correct.
great.
Yeah, I don't want that expansive width of hot top if we don't have to.
Good, neither do I. Thank you very much. Okay, no further questions.
Thank you.
Dennis, Gary?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I mean, overall, I'm pleased to see the reduction in the narrative, and Happy New Year, Counselor. Overall, the plan itself is very well thought out. Being a member of the city of Lowell over 30 years, I can certainly understand the need to bring your daughter closer to home. That's always a valued piece moving forward. I do have a question about that noise barrier, that berm. Is that going to remain in its entirety, or
No, the landscaping, the way it stands now, if I recall.
you have to
from the
carve
plan,
it?
It's going to be carved
Yeah,
down,
okay.
sloped out the way it needs to, and then what we'll do is put new plantings that,
Right.
on the other side of that fence, we actually own another 4 feet. So we'll try to take into consideration, trying to put something, arborvitaes or something like that will block the noise.
That was more self-preservation to reduce the noise when you built that up
Yeah, exactly.
overall, and it does bloom nice.
And it was for landscaping, architecture more than even the sound.
Okay. No, I think some of the, the concern about the hot top extending off the drive has been answered, and I know maybe Mr. Alides mentioned the possibility of the board considering conditions that the board members have had, and I'm sure you're amicable to those. I know Mr. Squalia has done his due diligence on this project, and I think overall, credit goes to the formation of what you've done here tonight, and I do wish you the best of luck over there and getting your clan in order. Good luck with your project.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Van?
Overall, Mr. Chairman, I think this is a good project, and if anything, I think it'll add a lot of character to an already great neighborhood, so I support this, and I wish you the best of luck.
I guess the only comment I'll make is, and Dennis brought it up, on the plans for what you gave us here is what the home is actually going to look like, correct?
Correct.
So the patio that's on the back, which I don't see that's on the plot plan, let's say it that way, you know what I mean? So, do you have the dimensions of the patio?
No, it's actually something that has to be, it's not a patio like we're going to walk down to and step. However, it would be if the topography works best for that, and that's what we were trying to determine.
Right.
It would be probably similar to what we have in our house, which is a raised wooden type of deck, which
So-
was,
And I'll tell you why I'm asking this, because I don't want to, 2 years or a year from now, you have to come in for a variance to put the deck on.
right, no,
I just want to make sure whatever you think your plans are, that you
Yeah.
don't try to put something, not you try to put, your daughter tries to put on,
right.
that then you're back here again
Right.
looking for, I just want to make sure you consider that.
Yeah, we have enough footage back there to we can move into what is required, I think.
So it's
even-
25 feet, if I read this correctly, you need rear setback. So I think you should have plenty of room, but
Yeah,
since it's on the plan here, well, this plan here, about it said patio, and when Dennis asked it, I actually had a note in here about
Yeah.
decks in the future, because I didn't see anything. I just would suggest you consider that strongly.
I prefer the design to have it be a flat on the ground, so then I wouldn't have to worry about anything like that ever
Yep.
in the future.
Yep.
And it's a lot less steps for people to win out when they get older, as I'm finding now, the less the better.
You're not going to bait me with that one.
I think he was referring to me, Mr. Chairman.
I'm not even going to touch that one either. Okay, so, I think a couple of things, the family has been in the neighborhood for close to 30 years. I've had a neighbor show up this evening that's been there for almost as long. No other neighbors, at least, have come forward and and expressed any dissatisfaction with the intent. And I think I heard a couple of, so before I go a little bit further, as far as conditions, possible conditions here, I heard a couple of things. So I know you mentioned a few things, Mr. Leites, but Dennis mentioned some things also. So regarding the driveway, was there anything on the existing driveway that we're talking about? Okay.
I
So
would prefer it,
Can you read that back to Mr. Leites, just so
Sure.
there's agreement?
One condition would be to remove the pavement that remains on new Lot 2 from the existing driveway. Remove the existing driveway pavement that remains on Lot 2.
correct, that's fine.
Okay. The other one was, I guess I'll call it landscape plan, stormwater mitigation, those types of things.
Working with DPD.
Okay. Do you, what do you have on that?
I'd suggest to work with DPD to complete driveway drainage design and landscape design to comply with zoning requirements.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I'm still not done, but does anybody have any other conditions they would want to throw on the table? Any other comments? Okay.
I had one other that we talked about, just because not on the plan, but that the existing tree to the right of the existing driveway to remain.
It's fine.
I think that's part of your intent with the whole
Correct.
driveway.
Yeah.
We can't guarantee forever, Mr. McCarthy.
Why not?
Yeah, I can promise you one thing, if it wasn't there, a new one would be planted.
No, you know what I mean. Yes, of course, we accept that.
So
as
the
a
comment
condition.
petitioner made on the telephone pole, I know, was talking about moving it. Now, is that something that has to be done because of the plan? Or is that something that you're going to ask to have done?
I'm gonna ask to have done, I've inquired about the cost, and they gave me a number.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it be cost, it might be time, how long you got to
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
Can't fix broken ones. Okay, so if we look at the prerequisites for granting a variance, the special hardship, the public good, and the intent of the zoning being satisfied, I think the petitioner has met all three. I mean, as far as the special hardship, I think, Mr. Leites, you explained it, 30 years ago, they threw a home in there, not thinking about, faced with a situation like this, and zoning changed over time. A couple of the members mentioned about the length of time that the petitioner has been in the city, and also if you can help a family member out, that's pretty critical. And obviously, the neighborhood isn't in opposition of the variance that's being sought. So with that said, I believe we talked about conditions. If there's no other comments, could I have a motion, please?
Through Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for ZB 2014-071 for a variance at 23 Ursula Street, for a variance for minimum lot size, minimum frontage, and lot area per dwelling unit. Minimum lot size being reduced to 7,800 and, I think, 40 square feet, 801 square feet, and minimum frontage being reduced to 65 feet with the following conditions. Number one, that the existing driveway pavement that remains on Lot 2 be removed. Number two, that the existing tree to the right of the existing driveway to remain. And number three, to work with DPD to complete driveway drainage design and landscape design to comply with zoning requirements.
Okay, could I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Chairman Bailey?
Approved with conditions?
Member Callahan?
Approve with conditions.
Member McCarthy?
Approve with conditions.
Member Paglia?
Approve with conditions?
Member Peck?
Approve the conditions.
And Member Perrin.
Approve with conditions.
Okay, Mr. Leites?
I think I can say, we all thank you very much.
Yeah,
We
no,
appreciate
wish
it.
you the best of luck and hope
Thank
everything
you.
goes well.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Need me to sign anything? Old days, we used to sign a plan, but that's
I don't know, Judy, does he need to sign anything? Mr. Leites need to sign anything? No?
if you need anything, just give me a
Yep. Okay, so we still don't have 600 Merrimack.
No.
Okay. So I think past practice, we'll just continue it. What's the date of the next meeting?
Let's see, the date of the next meeting would be the 26th,
26th.
Monday, the 26th.
Okay, so if I could have a motion, please, to continue 600
Merrimack Street.
Merrimack Street, please.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for ZB 2014-069 for special permit for 600 Merrimack Street to be continued to January 26th.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Chairman Bailey?
Continue to January 26th.
Member Callahan?
Continue to January 26th.
Member McCarthy?
Continue to January 26th.
Member Paglia?
Continue to January 26th.
Member Peck?
Continue to January 26th.
And Member Perrin?
Continue with January 26th.
Okay, so no other matters on the agenda, no other business, anything else, Judy, we need to?
Just one item I thought I would mention, probably at the beginning of February, we'll be sending you a copy of, we're redoing all the applications, basically for planning boards and zoning board, so that we have applicants making out a main application, and then there would be sub-applications. Sub-applications would be, say, variance from the zoning board, special permit from the zoning board, special permit from planning board, definitive plan, site plan review. So what we're trying to do is take all the information that the applicants need to provide in every application, including making it more clear with regard to the request for permit sign. I'm actually putting that in the application so that we're not constantly digging for it and giving people copies of the language from the actual zoning. So everybody will have the same information about noticing abutters, information about the request for permit sign. So again, we're going to try to make it a lot easier for the applicants to fill out their application. So what we'll do is we'll send all of you a copy of what it is so that we can get your comments.
And when would you be rolling out this document for use?
We're having a meeting about it this week. We do have a draft that we've looked at, so it's within the next few weeks.
Okay, and Judy, you did mention you try to get this out to the members.
Yes,
when you
yes,
can.
I can definitely send that out email. Yes.
Okay, so next meeting's the 26th, correct? Yes. Okay, could I have a motion to adjourn?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
So moved.